The S&P 500 continues to make higher lows, and we're on that brink of getting the government shutdown completely over. Actually, tonight you should see that vote pass the House, or the vote just go into the House, hopefully pass. It looks like it's going to, and then go to Trump's desk first thing either in the morning or tonight for him to sign as well. All the government shutdown will start to proceed, reopening by the end of next week. And again, the market should be back to normal. Hopefully so. Now, it's also important to understand we're going to be attacking where the market is going to be moving over the next few days and weeks. As you can see here, you zoom out to a higher time frame, you are clear as day trending above the 50-day moving average, finding buyers nonstop. Now, right now that you can see, we had that push yesterday into local highs this morning, actually, and they had a little bit of a dip back down. But I'm still telling you, the market looks incredible because overnight you still saw the Dow YM push to all-time highs once again this morning as well. And then you go into something like ES, which I believe is right in the middle, which is still outperforming as well, holding very well also. So again, the ES is on the brink of all-time highs, the Dow is already there, and the Nasdaq is getting ready for an explosion. The only question is where do you put your money? Where do you attack the market in order to make profits during this time? Let's get to work. Now, before we go too far in this video, I do want to say right now, if you want to see exactly how we're trading, what we're trading, the link is down below. Do what you got to do. Futures, we go over that every single morning. Our watch list from Jordan, top stocks we're looking at there, trade ideas for swing trades, technicals for our scalps, everything along those lines. It's all there for you. You can see the profits. And I also want to give a special shout out to this new member. He joined, I think, in October. Anyway, so he's been watching me for a long time, I guess, finally joined. And again, I am not saying that I made him this money by any means. He executed, he put in the time, he put in the hours, 100%. That's what it takes. You have to put in the time. You have to treat it like a full-time job. Ask him if you want. And again, he made 50 grand over this past week so far. So congratulations to him. Monster trades, dude. Keep it up, man. But let's get into the charts and what we're looking at. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about is what's happening with the government shutdown. So again, we'll see that happening overall tonight. There's really not too much to discuss. That should be going on around 7 p.m. Eastern. So really by 6 p.m. So around 40 minutes from right now. And right now it's 5:21 Central Time for me. So around 40 minutes, maybe when this video goes live, that's when you'll see that happen. I do expect to see buying volume kick in right off the bat, but we'll see how that progresses after that. Hopefully we can continue to get that volume as well. Now, it's also important to understand that today we had some interesting news that Atlanta Fed Bostic announces he is going to be retiring in February at the end of his term. Now, it's very interesting because you're seeing this kind of pivot in the Fed right now. And what do I mean by that? So right now what you're seeing is, again, Trump has made it very clear that he is going to put in a new administration in the Fed, and he wants them to listen. Bend the knee to President Trump, right? That is the goal. And so in my opinion, you're already seeing this. I've talked a lot about Fed Powell when his term ends, and I actually corrected myself right here. So as far as Board of Governors, that ends on the January 31st. For the Federal Reserve, that is May 15th. So we still got some time. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there. Okay, so important to mention that. Be watching that. I'll want to correct myself because again, if I ever get something wrong, I like to correct myself here. Now, going into the charts, what do we look at specifically? I want to spend a lot of time on futures, but we'll start here with QQQ. Now, I'm going to bring up the drawing so you can see. But again, our biggest levels, everything in between, let's get into. These are intraday levels, so we can get rid of those. Those are just for scalping, but let's cover what's going on here. Now, as you can see here, the big level that I've been watching is around 613, 614, and then also the 50-day moving average, which you're holding. So overall, what we can see has happened so far on this previous dip and how you've moved from there. Okay, so let's just address that first. So you came down to your 50 SMA, you bounced immediately, and you found aggressive buying. Not only did you do that, but then you reclaimed that level of 613, 614, once again, and now you're pushing back into highs. Now, today was very interesting because we saw some sellers trying to get active, right? We saw that story try to take place. We saw sellers trying to push us down, but it didn't really work. And if you look right now over the, yesterday into today, right, you're still making higher lows. And that is the story right here. Buyers are still trying to hold that control and push us back into that level, 624, to hopefully mount and retest and push into all-time highs. Now, it's important to understand QQQ, in my opinion, is lagging the most. If we look at the rest of the market, SPY is looking pretty good. As you can see, I mean, clear as day. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this is a strong chart. Sorry if you can hear my son in the background. He's going AWOL. He's like August, so now he's, what is he, like 15 months or something? I don't know. He's loud as hell. But anyways, he's literally a monster, baby. As you can see, we're holding back above that 682 level as well. That SR flip right there, as you can see, which is also very, very clean, giving you a look at that. So again, this is from Monday. As you can see there, you flip above it. You kind of trap some shorts here, this morning. As you can see, Wednesday, we get back above, mount, and now we're pushing back up. That's a really good look. SPY looks strong. So again, what we're seeing there and how we're moving. And again, you're only about, what is that? All-time highs are 689, you're around $6 from all-time highs. Now, this is where things are interesting is DIA, the Dow. A Dow is going ballistic. As you can see, you broke those highs this morning right there. You gapped right above, and then you really just shot up, kind of flagging there, but you look really solid. And Dow, like this morning, if you look at YM, the futures, you literally shot up like from 48.1 all the way into 48.5. It was a crazy move. So again, what you're seeing, so we can clearly see Dow was in the lead, ES is like in the middle trying to break out. QQQ needs to still get that big break is what we're looking for. So the market as a whole has continued and is still pushing at all-time highs. And no matter how you want to break it. I just want to make that really clear. Now, where things get more interesting, you look at IWM. I think this is still one of the bullet points and what we have to be focusing on. And again, is seeing the Russell, a major risk on indicator. So a lot of you guys that watch my other videos, or if you do watch my videos, recommend you do. Again, I go over and break down some small cap stocks, mid caps, things along those lines, growth stocks, etc. But it's important to understand that when we look at those names, IWM is a very big factor here because this is a big risk on indicator. And if you look at what's happened basically since, the tariff crash we had earlier this year, right? Look at how IWM's recovered from 174 all the way into 250, right? A monster run. That's why most of these names have gone ballistic this year specifically. So it's important to understand the cause and what's all going on right now. It's not just a random boom. IWM has been the big leader here. And you're also trying to get that big breakout here on the weekly as well. So again, like I said, it's a monster week, and it's a monster breakout that we're looking at as of right now. So when we look at Qs, we look at the rest of the market, it's important to understand everything and how it's working out as of right now. And for anyone that's like saying, oh, this is bearish, we're so bad, we're going to dump, I would just encourage you to go to a higher time frame like the weekly here and just look at what's going on. Again, you look pretty good. You look pretty good. Copium is a hell of a drug. Don't do drugs, boys and girls. Do not do drugs. Don't try to cope. Again, that is where we're at right now. Now, it's also important to look at what's going on and what's carrying us. Now, it's when we look at something like SMH, semiconductors, I've talked a lot about this as well. So when you go in here, we quickly bring this up. Semiconductors, as you can see, bring up the drawing there. You can see, like I mentioned yesterday, even though it wasn't a great day, even though it wasn't a crazy upside down NASDAQ, you're still bouncing off said level, bouncing back up. And then today you're kind of flagging here, trying to get the push back to that upside. We saw AMD and specifically go crazy today, really monster day there. So again, reclaiming that level, break, retest, continuation. This is textbook breakouts of what you're looking at right now. I like to keep stuff really simple and not overcomplicated. You can clearly see buyers are holding you and buyers are stepping in continuously here, and that is what you want to see. So again, good looks overall. SMH still looks very healthy, and I'm looking for continuation there. You go into XLK, the tech ETF, very similar structure. So again, it's very easy to get caught up and staring, just at one side of the market and, get wrapped up in that. I get it. It's very easy. But when you look at what's happening, today was overall flat day for QQQ. It was literally I think down 0.08%. SPY was down, actually green on the day. So when you look here, you can still see you're making higher lows and you're just kind of consolidating here. This is very strong behavior and ultimately what you want to see. So again, getting that break back to the upside, holding your key level. This is all you could ask for, is watching buyers step back in and ultimately giving people buying opportunities still in the market. So our two top sectors, again, for QQQ, the NASDAQ, which has carried us for the last year, tech, XLK, and semiconductors, SMH, still look phenomenal. Now, on top of that, it's worth to mention some of these Mag 7 names don't even look that great. Like, Apple, yeah, it's carrying, it's holding at all-time highs. NVIDIA, just chilling here. Someone commented on yesterday's video and said that NVIDIA was bearish and looked bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make something very and abundantly clear to you. Let's zoom out. And again, you might be blind, maybe you might have vision problems, maybe you just might not understand anything. I don't know. Maybe you just don't get. Maybe you're simple. They said back in the old day, you're just a simple person, right? So when you look here, let's look real quick. So all you really need to do is you can take all the drawings off for yourself, and all you really need to understand for a bullish trend overall on any stock, anything, is higher highs and higher lows. That's number one. Okay. Now, for a better look, you can even do from your previous all-time highs and seeing how you react there. If you're holding above your previous all-time highs, you're making higher lows anyways. So as you can see here, this is your previous all-time high, this 184 level, right? It's been very critical, very crucial in my personal opinion here on NVIDIA. So when we bring these drawings back up, as you can see, and I can actually just make this here for you so it's a little bit easier to see. Just grab that right there. You can see that we are clearly holding above that. Where you had a question mark was right around here from when Trump started announcing the trade war stuff, but quickly we sat there, right? And then we shot right back up. So that told me, in my opinion, that NVIDIA looks very good. good, okay? And so as of right now, you go back to this past Friday, look at how you dip below this level, but you ultimately hold that level, right? That's all buying. So if you go back and look, you can see sellers push you all the way down to 179, but buyers put you right back up. And that is ultimately what you wanted to see. So NVIDIA still looks incredibly bullish. Now, where you start to get really bullish here, looking back for call options, back to the upside, ideally is what you want to see is getting back above this level here, your previous highs from October 10th, which when Trump announced us to trade war stuff with China, but that's already resolved. Who would have thought? At 195.5 right there. So we get back above that, you look good. You're kind of rejecting there right now. You're kind of just sitting in a range. And this is another key metric. And I'm so big on tracking NVIDIA because you'll notice if NVIDIA gets stuck in a range like it did today, typically NASDAQ won't move very well. And it was a great example because NASDAQ didn't move very well, right? And so when we look at where you're at right now, look at this type of action, right? So all day between yesterday and today, first of all, you need to understand you have no liquidity from 193 all the way down to 180. There's nothing. For instance, when we knew there was no liquidity here last time, you got below 195 and you went straight down to 184 because there was no liquidity. Because again, what do we always say? If you move up fast, you can move down just as fast. And the same words to the, the upside, right? So very important to understand that, right? And so as you're moving back here, you're just finding buyers in the middle of nowhere. And what that tells you, in my personal opinion, is that sellers just aren't very strong, right? It's very just, critical to know that, right? So it's like if you're just given, it's like a layup. This is a layup of a trade, and then sellers just don't do anything with it. You're finding support in the middle of nowhere. Again, weak outing from sellers. Now, could you drop? Could you dump? 100% you could. But as of right now, the data and what we're looking at with the charts, it just tells us that sellers don't want to do anything, right? Very important to understand that. But I said earlier was AMD was the one doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and AMD did. So again, they gave more of an outlook, what's happening with Lisa Su, AMD as a company. And again, they gapped up today from literally 237 all the way into 249 and ended up running into highs of 263. What a run indeed. This is why I kept saying, if you come down to 227, that is a buying opportunity if you have no shares, if you're interested at all. So big opportunity there. Congratulations if you got any back above 241, like I mentioned here. Ultimately, it was the thing for call option. So again, you look really good as well. You didn't get the retest, sucks to suck, but it is what it is. So what you're looking at there as well. One of the weakest names in the market right now is actually Meta. And again, I'm doing this video a little bit different, but I just want to cover a lot of things that I think is important for the time being. So if you look at Meta right now, again, Meta's chart's pretty gross. And people keep saying, Tyler, are you buying Meta? What are you doing? And I'm just being patient. Again, you need to understand, I never really want to be the first person in a trade. I don't want to be the last person out of a trade, typically, okay? So I like to wait for confirmation. What does that mean? I like to see buyers get aggressive, buyers to step up and be like, okay, we're holding this level. We're making higher highs, higher lows. That's, key indicator, right? What we want to see. And so Meta's kind of flipped the script and is, getting a pullback. Now, again, I think right now for, big support areas, what you're looking at is going to be down here. Massive, massive, massive demand is down here at 540 to 480. That's your big buying zone. This is your first big support. We've talked a lot about it here on the channel. As you guys can see, the 601 level, again, was your previous all-time high right there before you broke out and went ballistic. So you can see as of right now, and we covered this before you ever even hit it, you can go check on the previous videos and the stock market video specifically. You can see that, again, you came down to this spot right there and you found some buying. Now, the bad thing here is what we said is lower lows and lower highs. That's a bearish trend. That's not what you want to see. So you're still making those lower lows here, as you can see, just nonstop with that little trend to the downside. And you're, again, lower highs and you're aiming to push down once again. So if you push down, not a good look. If you lose 601, in my personal opinion, Meta, if you get any sell side on the market, is a name that you're looking down for 540. And again, and that's, I like that I like that a lot as a buying opportunity. I'll tell you that right now, unless you start seeing crazy selling, but worth mentioning, worth watching. Again, Oracle also pretty weak. Again, just going straight down as of right now, looking for the 200 SMA. I wouldn't be looking at anything else for right now. 200 SMA in your 209, 210. That's going to be your buying opportunity to see if buyers can step in finally there. Amazon, another big play here overall. Again, I've been patiently waiting for the break back above 250.4. You just haven't got it overall. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Beggars can't be choosers. So as you can see, I've highlighted this plenty of times. Your level there, your level there, your level there, you have your level there, you have your level there. Again, you're rejected once again. You're just sitting in between our levels. And again, this is just what you're doing right now. So you can't force it. You broke, retested, just aiming back down. Still doesn't look that great. But again, if we can break back above 250.4, I am going long. I like this back into all-time highs. Again, but if you get back below 242.6, I think you have a lot of concern, which was your previous all-time highs there. So I'd be watching 242.6 as a break towards the downside, because if that happens, I think it's it's an easy short back down to 238.9 and then ultimately to 233. And you still have that gap all the way down at 224. And 224 was a brick wall of a level to break above. So again, that's going to be like a magnet pulling us back if selling does occur. So you can see in the video already, I've proposed ideas to the upside, ideas to the downside. So if the market does come out, and even though I'm pretty net bullish, if you start breaking, below the support, which is where you've been holding all day yesterday, today, and the day before that, right here, as you can see on NASDAQ 25.5, if you start breaking below that to the downside, again, some of the names I'd be looking to trade both ways. It's very important too, and I'm going to paint you guys a picture and what I do every day in Discord. Okay. So what I do, as you can see here, every day when I wake up, I do the same thing. Literally, first thing I do when I wake up, maybe I wake up at different times sometimes, right? Or I come downstairs at least first thing I do when I hit the bottom floor of my house, right? Flex, is I come over to my office and I quickly make my rundown. Then I usually make a cup of coffee. Okay. And so it's important to understand what I look at, right? So I go over what NASDAQ did the night before. It's nothing long, nothing crazy. And then I go over the upside and the downside thesis. So looking for buyers to push towards 25.87. Over that level, I'm looking for the 26,000 push. Under VWAP, I'm looking for the push down to 25.65. And then I have my level down here as well, which I actually didn't have marked out right there at 25.5. But again, this morning, bright and early right there, as we were sitting at highs, that's what I was looking at. So when sellers opened up, we pushed below VWAP. Well, what happened? It was one of the easiest trades of the day. Again, there's literally a timestamp on it, so I can't be BSing you. So again, market opens literally right here. You break down, you get below VWAP, instant move straight down to where? Boom, 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 25.6 roughly, and then ultimately down to 25.5 gross. But again, worth mentioning, worth watching. But that's how I go about the day. I don't go into the trading day with like, okay, I'm only going long today. I'm only going short today, because that's not the way the market moves. I don't dictate what the market does. You don't dictate what the market does. So I think that'd be very arrogant and cocky of me to assume that, right? You have to respect the market and respect what's going on. It's literally I do that. I post the same thing literally every single day. So super important to understand what and why I'm looking at those things. So again, that's how I approach it. And so people that say, oh, well, Tyler, you're going playing both sides. Well, I guess I am, because I'm day trading in the market. Now, of course, sometimes I have swings, and right now I have some swings open on Walmart. I'm a big fan of where they're at, and I think honestly into the end of the year with the government shutdown ending, I think Walmart has some room to the upside. But again, that's ultimately how I'm looking at the market. If you have any questions, let me know what you think down below. Have a good one. Have to go to my son's football game tonight. Really wild. It's on a Wednesday. It is what it is. Have a good one. See you guys in the next video.